very sorry about this, but we've got no vehicles and drivers, and they're all out. I can't contact them at all. So we're going to have to wait till the vehicle comes back.
There has got to be a better way of doing things than this.
Our operational units rely heavily on technical support, backed up by the timely resupply of spares. On each RAF station, these spares are transported by the Supply Forward Delivery Service. But is the Forward Delivery Service effective? Could its tasks be carried out more efficiently? Does it have the right vehicles and equipment to do its job? The dispersal of our squadrons to hardened sites has dramatically altered the task of the Forward Delivery Service. So the MOD Supply Policy Branch decided to take a detailed look at the Forward Delivery Service, but lacking the resources to carry out a major study, they called on the RAF Central Management Services Unit.
Studies undertaken by the RAF Central Management Services Unit may be sponsored at station or unit level by a group or command headquarters, or, as in this case, by an MOD branch. Usually, initial contact with CMSU is by telephone, whereupon a liaison officer from the sponsoring organisation is invited to come and discuss the potential study.
We do organisational studies, we do method studies. We also produce networks to assist with project management. Now perhaps you'll tell me what your problem could be.
Thank you, sir. We would like CMSU to have a look at the forward delivery service on our air bases. To give you some background to this.
The liaison officer is asked to give a detailed account of the problem as it is seen by the sponsor. In some cases, the sponsor may have a feeling that perhaps things could be better in one particular area, as was the case with the forward delivery service, rather than clear evidence that a specific problem exists.
From the supply squadrons out to these hardened equipment shelters, so that we've got protected assets and we can give a service on the doorstep of the flying squadrons. Another fundamental change is the recent introduction of the unit supply ADP system.
In studies involving the exploitation of new or existing ADP systems, RAF CMSU can call upon specialists for advice when necessary.
So against this background of the station layout, the unit supply ADP system, we would like you to look at how we're organised for forward delivery. Look at our procedures, policies, organisation, the manpower aspects, equipment and vehicles. We would like CMSU to have a good look at how we provide a forward delivery service to our customers.
Thank you very much for giving that outline of the problem areas. I think there's quite enough there for us to get our teeth into. And I see that we've got two studies there, really. We've got a method study and an organisational study. And perhaps we can now move on to deciding what the aim of the study should be and draw up some terms of reference for the team.
This is the forward delivery area where we have our...
The selected team leader can either be a civilian higher executive officer or, as in this case, a squadron leader.
Out to the customers using a combination of scheduled and special runs. In the main, we use scheduled runs, which takes the greater majority of routine and lower priority equipment, and they go out on long, wide loops, say around the whole airfield.
Having carried out background research, the team leader then goes on location to begin a preliminary survey to confirm that the problems can be solved using management services techniques. He estimates the time and resources needed to undertake the study, assesses the techniques to be used, and draws up a study timetable.
Yeah, we'll have no problem. Manage that one. Okay then. Do you stay for 617? You've just missed a routine run. You're going to have to send a special run now.
No detailed recording is made during the preliminary survey. even though some of the problems are obvious. Having completed the preliminary survey, the team leader reports back to CMSU to await the go-ahead for the full study, which will investigate the apparent inefficient use of resources and duplication of effort. The priority item is delivered, but perhaps CMSU can find a better way of achieving the objective.
We've selected RAF Marham from the preliminary survey to carry out our study into the forward delivery service. First of all, I'd like to introduce the team members. Warrant Officer Bridges and Corporal Entwistle.
Hello there, sir.
And I have here a copy of our terms of reference that you can keep.
And how long are you going to be with us?
Initially about a month. First of all, I'd like to talk to your people who will be involved in the study to explain what CMSU will be doing.
The CMSU team start to build up a picture of exactly what the forward delivery service does. Intensive recording of what, how, when and why the activities take place is undertaken. The team makes notes on the adequacy or otherwise of handling aids and vehicles for transporting fragile components. Interviews are carried out with the people involved, usually at their place of work.
What about if you have an urgent requirement for a priority station? I see. Fine. Okay, well, thank you very much for your help. And will you make further deliveries during the day?
Yes, sir, we will. Four more.
And when we leave here, where's our next port of call?
Our next port of call will be one of the squadrons, preferably 27. That's the closest one.
And you have equipment on board the 27 Squadron?
Yes, sir, we have.
Are we dropping anything off here?
No, just doing a quick look.
Where are we going on this run?
We're going over to the Arm Roll Bay, which is over the other side of the airfield.
All right. How long will that take?
About 15 to 20 minutes.
A wide variety of loads are carried by the same delivery vehicles, which are used for transporting scrap equipment and sensitive electronic components. As the picture was built up, it became obvious that the performance of the forward delivery service depended on influences outside the scope of the study.
And they come on through into the forward delivery section. We put the priorities here on the red racks, and then the routines into the black cage panels.
I see. Doesn't seem very busy in here at the moment.
Well, that's because all the items in the reconciliation area are being held up waiting for the paperwork in SCAF. And that will then, when they're matched up, they'll be brought through here, and then it'll get busy.
Where do the items originate from that the FDS delivers?
Well, in the main, the equipment is delivered on the unit from the depots, or indeed from other units, by the RAF Priority Freight Distribution Service, what used to be known as previously as the early bird system.
Oh, I remember, yes.
And that comes in twice a day in the mornings and in the evenings. We've got one due in at 4 o'clock, and I'll take you through the receipt procedure.
CMSU contacted the sponsor, who agreed to expand the terms of reference of the study to include the receipts procedure. New terms of reference were agreed.
Right, Phil, here you see the items arriving on the station from the depot via the FDS.
How long does it take for these items to get to forward delivery?
Well, even the priority ones can take anything up to 3 hours.
Why does it take that long?
Well, let me take you inside and show you the processing system.
Right.
And in here, the lads are checking off all the items that have arrived against the cargo transit check sheet.
Yeah, I see.
Mara, 523 from the Army.
The items now come off the ramp fill, and we take them down to the reconciliation area, where the boxes are unpacked.
The boxes are opened in this reconciliation section. The items are separated from their issue vouchers and are held up until they are brought on charge.
Or be delivered to an inventory holder.
I see. So you have 2 PFDS vehicles a day, correct?
That's right, yes, we have 4 in the morning and 4 in the evening.
Then do you have any other deliveries during the day?
Yeah, throughout the day we'll have anything up to, say, 10 wagons coming in from civilian and service sources.
So where does the PFDS vehicle go?
One problem with the current system is that the computer terminals needed to bring an item on charge are located some distance away from the reconciliation area, in the supply support cell.
So this is SCAP, where we bring the items on charge and update the station's stock record.
I see, so the vouchers come all the way to the building from reconciliation to here?
That's correct. The VDU operator requires the voucher in order to update the computer and then for the computer to tell us where to deliver the equipment.
I see, and the vouchers then go all the way back to reconciliation?
That's correct.
Why are the computer terminals located so far from the reconciliation area? Before the computers were introduced, that is where the manual recording clerks were located. No one thought to change the location.
What are you writing on the voucher?
The team now set about recording the methods involved in the current receipting system. Painstakingly, a detailed picture is built up of the processes involved. This information is converted into a process chart, which becomes the key to evaluation at a later stage.
And where does the equipment go from here?
The equipment then goes from the location bins.
Yeah.
We relink it with the paperwork when it comes back.
Extensive use is made of video recording of fine detail and fast action for later analysis.
I'm specifically interested in the passage of the ESD 600, so if you could concentrate on that for me, please.
Right, fellas, I've got some more videos for us to look at.
See what you think of this.
Oh, yes, I'd be very impressed if that was for me.
Yes, look.
Yeah, good grief.
CMSU teams have to keep up to date with the latest developments. Commercial trade shows offer an ideal opportunity.
So we roll this on, long that operation, lower it down, watch it doesn't roll over the edge though. As a sort of advanced vehicle, you know, this might be possible as a modification, I guess.
Good ideas abound. These boxes could be quite useful, perhaps on a roller conveyor. During the study, the team visited many other RAF stations and also took a look at how the United States Air Force operate their receipt and delivery service.
We've seen receipts arriving here and we notice they get put into coloured containers. Could you explain the significance, please?
High priority items and MyCap items will go into red bins.
Remember, it can take up to 3 hours to process and deliver a Priority 1 item in the RAF system. So how long does it take the USAF?
If it's a MyCap item, it's in-checked and processed within a half an hour.
All of the recording is now complete. Routes are mapped out, distances measured,
925.
and records analysed.
15%. No collection, only a drop-off.
Boss, was the locks bay on the link run?
No, it had a special run for the locks bay.
Okay, thanks.
Serial number 4.
The next stage, the cornerstone of management services work, is called the critical examination of the present system.
Okay, that's the examination of the checking procedure finished. Let's see what we should do next.
All aspects of the present system are subjected to a detailed scrutiny. What, where, when, how, and by whom.
Why is the activity carried out? Well, I think it's to enable the items and paperwork to come back together. But what's achieved?
It identifies the required items.
I wonder if you could eliminate that process.
Yes, it could be eliminated if items were brought on charge at the point of receipt.
Yeah. So tomorrow, At the group discussion, we need to determine if that's feasible. Now, why are the items unpacked? And who does it? OK, so where else could it be brought on charge? So why is it done there? What vehicles should be used? Could the service to you, the customer, be improved?
It's always happened that way.
But there's no reason why you can't pull those inabilities out into the R&D if we had a couple of chaps on the video.
Our snags come up at any time during day or night. We need the bit then.
We need to be able to, on radio or on telephone, right, we've got a crew in snag, we want the piece now.
The personnel close to the problem often have some excellent ideas on how to improve matters.
Somebody who says what the priorities on the unit are, where we go first.
Who do you think that should be?
Well, it's got to come from the engineers for them to decide what
COC, I would
the
imagine.
COC basically, yeah.
Through
Who is the main priority on the unit?
But I think that would...
CMSU provides management services support to the RAF worldwide. The station executives at Akrotiri felt that the distribution of internal and external mail could be improved. A team from CMSU investigated. In a short 6-week study, they came up with some new procedures to minimize the risk of delay. They recommended some straightforward improvements, like this postbox at the registry for unclassified mail. The stalwart bloodhound is an integral part of Britain's air defence, and just like aircraft, it needs routine maintenance. All was not progressing smoothly, however. A backlog of missiles awaiting servicing had built up, despite a considerable amount of overtime being worked. The CMSU team recommended improvements to the servicing organisation and procedures, and developed a revised servicing flow plan, which, when implemented, helped to remove the backlog and reduce the level of overtime. Bomb disposal work requires skill, patience, and dedication. CMSU were called in to review the structure and operating procedures of the RAF EOD organisation. A more cost-effective organisation was proposed, together with improvements in training methods and facilities, vehicles and communications.
We located the survivor underneath an overhang just above water level.
Quite a high workload for the pilot. CMSU were called in to try to reduce this, not in the air, but on the ground, where he has to deal with the inevitable paperwork and other duties. Proposals were made by CMSU to improve administrative support and minimize the other duties, so that the flight commanders could devote more time to their operational tasks.
Sierra Control, seeking 601, read, over. Contacts held in the turn. We had nothing previously in that position. It could well be a submarine.
Sub-hunting, the bread and butter of the Nimrod force.
Crew to action stations. Action stations. TACNAV, roger. Date of investigation pattern as brief.
But could the support given by OpsWing back at base be improved?
Okay, TACNAV, roger. Should be high confidence submarine unless we have garbage in the water.
CMSU investigated and identified ways of improving the organisation of mission support personnel, their location and working methods.
See him crossing slowly right to left. 1.5 mile. Visual. Snort, snort.
'84 Squadron, based in Cyprus, provides helicopter support to the United Nations peacekeeping forces. However, its accommodation at Akrotiri was not ideal. Again, a job for CMSU, which recommended some relocation within existing accommodation and a new build extension. CMSU teams record some unusual activities, although in this case they kept their feet firmly on the ground.
Take up the slack.
Balloons are required for parachute training at many locations throughout the country. This entails deflation, transportation and inflation at the various sites. CMSU recommended a more efficient management structure, revised operating and administrative procedures, together with improvements to vehicles, equipment and documentation. A busy station medical centre in Germany. However, all is not well. The existing space is being used inappropriately. Compressed gases are stored in a nearby building. It's well lit, so you'd think people wouldn't mind changing the bottles at night. Except the building is also the station mortuary. Does your office have a sink and shaving mirror? Administrative staff have to use ward facilities, while the main ward is in the old admin office, which is situated far from some of the essential patient facilities.
Back in a minute. Okay.
Not very convenient.
A-O-E.
To get the correct distance for an eye test, you have to sit in the sink.
C-O.
Would you design a building with a physiotherapy room upstairs? The bulk medicine store with a low-strength floor is upstairs too. As it has done many times in its worldwide support of the RAF, CMSU did think of a few improvements. The study into the forward delivery service has progressed well. A detailed report is compiled for the sponsor exclusively. Anyone wishing to have a copy has to approach the sponsor. In this way, CMSU maintains the confidentiality of its work. CMSU has up-to-date ADP facilities at its disposal for the production of network diagrams and other supporting documents.
The existing forward delivery vehicles are far from ideal.
A final presentation of the study findings is given to the sponsor and his invited audience.
And unsecured items rolled about. On many units, when the driver has left forward delivery, he is out of touch with his control because they are not provided with radios. It is encouraging to note that the trial that we recommended is underway to check the concept of roll pallets and improve vehicle design. One of our other recommendations is that the driver is provided with a management radio.
As soon as possible. I'm there now. I'll pick it up and deliver it straight away.
As managers, we should all be striving for efficiency, but some of us just don't have the time to devote to a problem. If you need help in reorganizing, improving methods, becoming more efficient, or just managing a project, contact the RAF Central Management Services Unit. We'll be glad to help you find a better way.